Hey, it's Greg Grunberg, Snap Wexley, and you are listening to 6th Scale Scavengers.
All right, Scavengers. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Also with you, always. Oh, boy, it feels good to be back. I'm your host, Bryan, joined with some legends, Chris and the Eye Candy TC. The Scavengers were back.
Dude, I forgot about that intro.
I know.
Greg
So
Grunberg.
good. Nostalgia. Straight up.
Talking about nostalgia, it's talking about felt surreal to get ready for one of these podcasts or shows or whatever we're calling this now. But I know the three of us have been podcasting for the last almost 2 years. All the cards formula, talking Formula One and top trading cards and all that other stuff. But here we are. And to be honest, I didn't ever think we would record another one of these. Chris and TC. I know we tried last year. I thought we were going to get back on it. We just lost the steam, and I don't know. I have reasons why I think it just didn't take off, because we were trying to stay focused on 6 scale stuff, and it just wasn't like our true passion. But you guys have been getting into like sketch cards and stuff lately for Star Wars, and it just hit me. I'm like, I miss talking Star Wars. I just miss the community aspect of what we do. I mean, Chris, the stuff is cool, and it's the reason why we collect. I mean, we've been collectors our entire lives, but it's kind of like those relationships, the connections that we make, that it kind of makes us want to give this another go here. So,
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everybody goes through phases in real life and collecting, and we had just kind of reached an end point with where we were at as collectors. And I think we've had some time to reflect and dabble in different areas here and there, and I think we've kind of found some solid areas of collecting to discuss, not just 6 scale, but we will talk about 6 scale. So I think, we'll just see what happens. We'll see where things go.
Most importantly, Chris, we got TC back. I know that you've been doing another Star Wars podcast as well. And I did ask you, I'm like, I didn't want to double up on your time, because I know time is one of our most valuable commodities. And when we got to talking about it, I'm like, we can't do this again if we're not going to bring back TC. So,
man, that is a nice contract I signed. Very nice benefits. No, it's good to be back. It's been 2 years. I looked at the last time we recorded. I think it was like late May, early June 2021 before we switched. But it's been a few weeks. But I mean, I've been in contact with a few scavengers over the time period. I haven't really gone anywhere. I just changed what I was collecting. But anyway, there was a lot of nice messages actually back a couple of years ago. I won't single people out, but it really does mean a lot when people send a nice message just saying thanks for the good episodes. It doesn't have to be anything more than that, but it was I always remembered. It always meant something to me. So anyway, good to be back.
Chris, I feel like we're even more of an amateur than we were last time. A lot's happened since I feel like we fell off the grid. We were some of the first pioneers to do a podcast in this space with 6 scale. And I mean, there's so many people that do it now that probably do it far better than we probably could ever do. I mean, I think also too, once I stopped updating our website and I just kind of lost that passion, eBay came down with a hammer on us, and it really didn't make it worthwhile to keep doing that. And like we've talked about, like we still collect some hot toys, not nearly as much as we do, but I think one thing that, man, there's just so many messages in the chat right now. This is great. We feel it's like amazing. Yeah. You can come back after almost a year, and in TC's case, almost 2 years, and I guess we must have had some kind of a lasting impression on people, because they're, we've still got 15 people hanging around right now. And certainly also too on a day, Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, where I'm sure there's a lot of other shows out there, content creators also doing, similar events. It means a lot. It means a lot to us for you to come hang out with us for a little bit. But I mean, we're not going to try to be the best. I think what's always kind of set us apart, Chris, is relatable, because we change our mind a lot. We dabble into different things. We make mistakes. We own up to them. We're not out there trying to buy everything. We're not a hype machine. And we definitely will not be that going forward. So I think our format will be, I guess, fairly similar to what we had tried last year. Instead of trying to go through like all the hot toy news and talk about figures that we don't even really care about, we're going to do our show and tell, each time out, something that kind of caught our interest that we'll want to talk about. What are we doing with our own collections? We'll keep sports and Formula One out of that portion there. And then maybe come up with a topic. I know I want to talk to you guys about sketch cards and some future episodes, but Hot Toys did give us some figures to talk about, with not a little underwhelming, but still some things that we can certainly still talk about.
Yeah, I think kind of getting into some of the other areas of our interests, over the next few episodes, or however we do it, it'll just shed some light into the community, what else is out there. Maybe some of our scavengers dabble in this stuff too, and certainly want to get involved in the chat, in the conversation. And so I mean, stuff like sketch cards, posters, prints, comics, action figures, vintage, modern, like all different scales, all sorts of different stuff. We'll definitely be talking about that. And I think with our varied interests between the three of us, and then we may potentially have some of the admins and other guests down the line to talk about what they're into, I think it'll make for some good conversations.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like following in the footsteps of Collecting Weekly. They don't just cover 6 scale figures or hot toys. They go 1/12 scale, Black Series, 3 3/4. They run the gamut, and we're not going to follow exactly that blueprint, but it will be a little bit more than just hot toys. Although hot toys will be kind of still the backbone, essentially, where when they release very consistently. So there's usually something always to talk about with hot toys. So it'll be a kind of a catch-all.
All right. I think my mic was having an issue. Somebody had mentioned it. So hopefully I got that squared away here. All right, let's just get into it here. Show and tell. Oh, I forgot to mention it too. So Chris, you and I love Return of the Jedi. So instead of trying to continue on with the 6 scales Scavengers name, this will be the name of the channel. But with a little play on words here. Return of the Scavengers. It's going to be the ongoing name of our episodes here. We've always just referred to ourselves as the Scavengers. Trying to look for deals. So that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Andrew
I
That's
hate
awesome.
sand. It gets everywhere.
Yeah, we talk about different grains of sand, and we appreciate that. So
This is sand from Tatooine. This is sand from Jakku. This is sand from
Tampa, Clearwater,
yeah, there you go.
different sands.
Hampton Beach, we can. Yep.
All right, let's go. All right, Chris's show and tells up first. Surprise, surprise, everybody! It's going to be Ahsoka.
Yeah, if I mean, you guys are going to hear a lot of Ahsoka talk, mainly because that's the main part of my collection. But first up for me with show and tell is a figure that was just announced. I think it was teased yesterday or it was talked about during the Hasbro live stream. But this is the Black Series Ahsoka Tano, and this is her as a Padawan, and it's specifically from her season 3 outfit change. And this is my favorite look for Ahsoka. And yeah, I didn't expect anything like this coming from Black Series. It wasn't really on my radar. I don't really collect Black Series anymore. It's been years since I was kind of into that line, but I do collect the Ahsoka figures in this scale. I think Hasbro nailed it. I mean, it's a little bit of a, it's a cross between the animation and live action look for her. I think it just looks really good, and I think this is going to be a hot ticket. It's a mainline release, $24.99, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. And it went up for pre-order today. I didn't pre-order it. I'm not a huge fan of pre-ordering, so I might just risk it, or grab it from grab it from one of the fan channel sites like Big Bad Toy Store, or whatever other ones are still out there. But yeah, I mean, she's got her 2 lightsabers, and I think that's all she's got. And the one thing that's kind of a bummer, it looks like this might get released under the current packaging of no window. I know Hasbro is eventually going to go back to the window boxes for the Black Series. So
Chris, just because it's been a while, what's been kind of the for anybody that's not up to speed like me?
Yeah,
I can see where there can be an issue of, you don't know, you could get an entirely messed up paint job on the face.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody could figure swap it. I mean, there's different things that could go on here.
I mean, those are really the biggest things. I mean, Hasbro for the most part is pretty good now with. I'll answer that in a second, Sean. Hasbro's been pretty good as far as paint applications and that sort of thing, but every once in a while you get the wonky eye, or it just doesn't look quite right with the face paint. But yeah, I mean, I think really the biggest thing is people swapping this stuff out and returning a figure that's not actually the figure you're buying. I think collectors are happy to go back to the window boxes, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things where Hasbro's CEO was really environmentally conscious, and after he tried to implement that whole change in packaging, but after he passed away, I think Hasbro's sales really took a hit. So I think they're kind of backtracking and coming up with it's still somewhat environmentally friendly because everything can be recycled. But anyway, tangent over. Love this figure.
So when does it get released?
It's up for pre-order. I don't know. I actually didn't check Hasbro's site to see when it's due. So due to come out. So maybe the chat has an idea on that. Some people were saying maybe this one by the end of the year, or a little bit after the new year.
Well, one thing's the same, is Chris is still the worst, so can't even bring the deets.
I know. Well, I did. Yeah. Anyway, and then Sean tried getting me to buy these $300 like custom like Ahsoka sneakers that were getting released today. I mean, they look kind of cool, but I couldn't pull it off. And Julia definitely gave the ixnay on on the Ahsoka sneakers, and so yeah, I'll live vicariously through those who do buy them. All right, so December of this year on BBTS. So potentially by the end of the year.
Very cool. All right. Just because I'm a complete amateur and need to figure out how to swap photos here. It's, been a little far too long. All right, let's see. I think I got this one, although that's not a good first picture to show. I guess we'll just make this work. All right, and TC is up next with his show and tell.
The Batman.
I don't know why these images came out tiny,
super small. All right, yeah. So
mini me. Sorry about that.
Those are that's all right. That's all right. Not a problem. I can see it, I guess.
Not 6 scale photos here.
But anyway, the Batman in the Armory. So I know this was announced, I think, a few weeks ago, and had a lot of hype at least a few weeks ago. So we're a little late, but that's the MO. It's got to stay consistent. But yeah, the Armory and Batman, I think it's awesome release. It's supposed to come out in Q2 to Q3 of next year, so 2024. And so this is kind of like, what they did with the DX12 and then the Armory from the Dark Knight. This is from Dark Knight Rises. And they did the same thing with like the DX19. So the DX19 is currently in stock, but this new one does look to be a little bit better. But, I have the DX19 and I don't care. I really want this one just because I always felt the Dark Knight always needed that upgrade. And, Hot Toys went years and years and years with producing so many nice newer figures. The Dark Knight line always lagged behind. They gave the Joker, I guess, another run in quarter scale, but they never actually followed through on 6 scale. So it seems like with InArt in the game now, with their Joker and then their plans to release the Dark Knight in the future, Hot Toys has basically said, we're in the party too. And they released the Armory, which looks amazing. I love the clear, I guess, acrylic that houses the suit, and the suits has upgrades, so the proportions are better. The cowl looks a little bit better, more defined, and the details are just a little bit, they're just that much better. And it has been a few years since the DX19 was released, so to be expected. But I just think it's really cool, and you get the Bruce Wayne, so the Power Pose Bruce Wayne, and the interchangeable sculpt. So a whole bunch of stuff. It's pretty expensive at $565, but I'm going to wait on this one because I have a funny feeling that by the time this gets released, it's probably going to be lower than the $565. Seems like Hot Toys, anything higher priced, it just doesn't move. Mm-hmm. And, even if you say, okay, Sideshow might waitlist the item, that's fine because there tends to be figures at pretty much every outlet in the United States and then also Hong Kong. So because of that, I'm probably going to wait, but I am anticipating this because I have the Dark Knight DX19 and I have the Joker from InArt. So I have those two figures. I want this set to kind of pair with them. And I really like Bane. We'll talk about Bane another time maybe, but very cool and pretty stoked.
Yep, and then you got to get the Batmobile, the Batpod.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't have that kind of space. So
I gotta say, like the Power Pose Bruce Wayne is just like insane to me. When
I saw that, Chris, for the first time, I was like, I thought that was like how they posed it until I realized that it was posed like that. But
yeah, I just
they definitely upped their game.
And with in art in the game here, I think Hot Toys had to step it up to varying degrees, and I think a set like this, I mean, especially if you don't have DX19, like this is going to be your go-to thing. Maybe you get the Batmobile, whatever, make a little cave setup. I just think, this set offers so much.
Yeah, just real quick, the I had ordered DX19. I had no idea actually what the suit was going to be like. I thought it was going to be impossible to pose. I just figured the rubber would be very just unmanageable. To my surprise, it's an incredibly not easy figure to pose, but the undersuit is fabric, and the only thing that's rubber is the thin rubber pieces that are basically, I guess, what is it? Not 3D printed, but epoxy printed. They're basically glued on in the manufacturing process. That's it. It actually is it's really well done. I just kind of lost for words. It's just really well done. And so I'm excited for this new one, because if they did it so well already for the DX19, I'm sure this one's going to be just as good, probably better.
Very cool. That trilogy has a huge following, so it's no surprise that Hot Toys is continuing to go back to that well.
All right, thanks, TC. All right, I will show mine now, if I can figure this out again. All right, Lego. So the Ultimate Collector Series, these things are just phenomenal. I actually have yet to actually purchase any of these. I always window shop these. I would have loved in the past to either A, be able to swing the Millennium Falcon, and B, have the space to display it. But being an original trilogy guy, Return of the Jedi, this X-Wing fighter, Red 5, this might be the one to do it. 1,949 pieces, about $240 on the Lego site right now. Actually on back order currently, so there's obviously going to be some popularity with this one. And so we'll see. And actually, if you were to order it in back order, that you'd probably ship to you in about 2 months. So I don't know if this is actually out, but this just looks incredible. Obviously, little Jedi pilot Luke here, but this just looks amazing. I think with these scales here, they can, because they're larger, they can put far more detail into them. Obviously, it's more of air quotes like adult builds, but this looks incredible. Like, I would have geeked out entirely as a kid to be able to have something like this in this level of detail.
R2, I see him. Yep. He's in there.
So, and
I think you need to get 3 of these.
One to open, one to store, and one for just in case, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's kits out there that you can make each one different. It's different.
Rock, stock, and lock.
Rock, stock, and lock. There we go.
That's it.
Greatest SNL skit ever.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, this just looks awesome. No, this just looks amazing. I don't know. I know there's quite a few scavengers that are also Lego collectors, and this is just pretty cool. I think it'd be a pretty fun build to do, and obviously it looks like you can open the S foils here. So
yeah, it's cool that it has the stand there too.
And I mean the cockpit. It looks like R2 might be normal minifig size, so that's obviously a little out of scale, but all things considered, I think this thing does look pretty sweet. So we'll see. Haven't committed to getting it just yet, because obviously price tag and space might be a concern, but out of all the things that have kind of, I know we've been talking about bringing the show back for about the last month or so, and figured what better day than May the 4th to kick this thing off again. This is the one thing that really kind of caught my eye the most out of all the different things that we've we've seen up for pre-order and release here. So yeah, it just looks great.
Yeah, Lego just keeps coming out with bigger and better sets, and it's tough not to get into that area. TC hooked me up with some sets and stuff, and we've been building with the girls, and like, they'll play with them, and they like building them. So it's like a family thing you can do, sit at the table and put together a set, as long as they
I
can
feel
follow
bad.
instructions.
I feel bad because I just for those of you that don't know, I gave Chris some Lego sets, but it's after I take out the minifigs. So like I got the like the Dark Trooper, whatever the Dark Troopers
hallway
with Luke. Yeah, the hallway with Luke, and I took Luke out and I have the Dark Troopers and they're behind me on my shelf, and then I send the rest of the pieces to Chris. And then I'll include like a random Clone Wars one in its place.
The girls don't care. I mean, we had the armors forge, and then that hallway play set. So the girls like put those together, and I had picked up Bo-Katan separately, and they don't care. They just do their little thing, and then I bought Bryan's N1 Starfighter off him, and so we put that together, and it's just super fun. And I think next up is the trash compactor playset. Yeah, so we'll do that.
Nice. I sent that one too.
Yeah. I'll just put Clone Troopers and Ahsoka in the trash compactor instead of the original crew.
Nobody will ever know.
And then Winnie the Pooh's house is going to be Ewok Village.
I can't believe how much some of those minifigs go for. Even my son's got there was a set that came out like a year or two ago. It was the Armorer, the Forge there.
Yeah.
And it had the Armorer and Paz Vizsla. And I think between the two figures, I think the Paz Vizsla was going for like $40 or $50, and the Armorer was going for like $20. And I'm like, that's more than the set cost.
Right. And yeah, you can't find those. You can't find a lot of them now. People buy them all up, and yeah, I've got an Ahsoka that was gifted to me. That was from one of the clone or Rebels sets, and figures like worth like $200 and something now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know there's people that are out buying out all of their there's like a battle pack right out now at Walmart and Target of like the 501st. It's like $20 or so. You see people just like piling their shopping carts full of them. I was there with my son last week, and I saw it. I was at a Walmart, and there was one that had about 10 of them. And I was looking at them like, no, just don't do it. Don't even think about it. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, I went through the girls' Lego sets, and I was like, hey, do you guys want these Marvel figures and stuff? And I completed them, and I put them out at the last show that I did, and people were buying them up $5 a piece. I was like, all right.
Nice. And Lego's got I think their leadership's been hanging out with Howard a little too much. Every R2D2 and C3PO that gets released with a newer product has a more advanced decal or a change in the pattern. So it's like every time that one gets released, if you want the latest and greatest, you got to buy that version. So I guess just how it is.
Yep, they know how to do it.
Yeah, Mark and Jason are talking about the new Indiana Jones Lego sets too.
Oh my God.
Those look awesome. Although I will say one of them I saw at Target. I think it was the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. That first scene there with the
boulder.
The boulder. And I was like, oh, that looks awesome. And then I saw the price tag of like $180. And I was doing like the mental math gymnastics in my head, and I'm like, I can't see how this set is worth more than 100. But
a lot of minifigs,
quite a few minifigs, but like just like the number of bricks included on it, mm-hmm. and just the I mean, it's essentially what it would be is like a play set. There wasn't a lot to it. I don't know. Maybe I'll break down at some point, but like a sweet angel.
No, it's sad. It's actually sad. I have my mom's genes are that she grayed really early, so I'm starting to sprout some grays, and it's very disappointing. I'm only 32. Shouldn't be getting anything, but it just is what it is. 33 in June.
There you go.
All right, so Mark's saying it's a little cheaper at the Lego store. It's 149, which is still a little. I don't know. I guess it's a little bit better. If it's 100, I would have got it in a heartbeat. But look at us, the 6-scale scavengers talking to Legos. What does the world come to? At least we're back.
Some like alternate dimension.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to look at their. They're going to forget they subscribe to us and see it tomorrow and be like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah. And then they hit unsubscribe.
Yeah, I'm sure our subscribers are going to tank. I couldn't even turn on like our super chats or anything because we were demonetized, not because of our subscriber count, but our view count just went off this precipitous drop that they're like, nope, you don't qualify anymore.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Exactly. All right, let's talk some collection updates because we're going to try to keep this to under an hour. Because Chris was had a lot of windshield time today. Yeah. All right, collection update. We'll kind of do what we normally did. They won't ever be as crazy, probably as they ever were in the past. But I famous last words.
Oh my God, some of those were classic. I bought 27 figures and sold 19 and parted out 10.
But now we got 2 years of
I know.
Yeah.
So
this is not 2 years worth of
buckle up.
This isn't 2 years worth of updates. These are like semi-recent updates.
Yeah, Scavengers were joking. They're like, "This is going to be the longest collection update ever."
All right, Chris, I'm gonna make you go first.
All right. I got a few
These might
things.
not be in any particular order, so I'll
That's
just have you
fine.
talk about them when they come up here.
All right. So we
Whoa.
talked about sketch cards, specifically Star Wars sketch cards, and this particular this one arrived this week, and thankfully my wonderful co-host claimed it for me. This is from an artist, Cyrus Shercat, and this is one of his artist proofs. So this is on a Topps licensed card. And then he painted this image, and the pictures don't do it justice. I mean, there is like gold flecks of paint on there, so like it really shines in the light. And this is one of my favorite images of Ahsoka of all time. This is from season 7 of the Clone Wars, and I was at Celebration Chicago at the Clone Wars panel when we first saw this image and got the poster that they handed out at the end of the panel. Just had to have this. Wasn't cheap by any means, but that's what you get with original art and these one of ones, especially artist proofs directly from the artist. So really, really happy to acquire this one. Yeah, had a number of comments on Instagram saying, "Oh, you're the one that got that." So
it wasn't linking you to the wrong person.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap, but I know this was. I think even when I can't remember if I saw it or TC saw it first, but we're like, yeah, this is just amazing.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, and I have like it's like an unspoken rule. Like if I see something Ahsoka that I like, I'll run it by Chris first because obviously we don't need to go into those details.
No.
Obviously, Ahsoka is Chris, but like this one, like I knew that card was just like it was amazing, and he had just posted it. Chance I happened to open up Facebook, and he posted it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
After I looked at it, and then I messaged Chris, and he wasn't responding. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna claim it because if Chris doesn't want it, I'll keep it. But I'm guessing he's going to want it. Yeah. So anyway, I claimed it just so that if I'm not going to get the card, I don't want like a random person
Yeah.
to have it. I don't want to miss out
Appreciate
because
it.
of that. So, but if Chris wanted it, he can have it. So Chris ended up claiming it. But yeah, it's my Ahsoka is Mando Ahsoka. So it's not really in my wheelhouse anyway.
Yeah, and sometimes like this has happened for both of us. You know, timing is everything. Whether it be on Instagram or eBay, these one of one sketch cards. It's there's a ravenous collector base for them, and uh, if you miss it the next time around, like most of them go into collections and never leave. If they do hit the market again, it's usually marked up significantly off the original price. And plus, it's really, really difficult to pull these types of cards out of, you know, different Topps products, uh, let alone get one of a character that you really want, and then it be at a top tier level, um, you know, art wise. So anyway, that's one of them. One of my pickups. All right. This is a little bit different, not Star Wars. This is G.I. Joe, vintage 1985, Snake Eyes, Commando. This was my favorite figure from childhood. We talk Star Wars, like I love Star Wars as a kid, but when it came to toys, G.I. Joe was where it was at for me. I don't really collect it too much, or I don't really collect it now, but Snake Eyes is my one representation for you know, my nostalgia for the GI Joe line from Hasbro. So I needed his Uzi, his gun, to complete him. And this particular figure, I'd love to have one carded, originally carded, but like on the minimum, they go for like $2,000. So some of variations go for if it's like top, you know, really, really good condition, they can go $5,000-6,000 for these cards, these figures carded. So yeah, I was really happy to complete this one. And I had originally gotten the figure from my buddy Kevin Mann, and yeah, so he hooked me up on a good deal. So gotta love some Snake Eyes. Okay, so this is the Ahsoka teaser poster, the official teaser poster. This actually just arrived today. 27-inch by 40-inch theatrical size poster. I mean, I had to have it. It's Ahsoka, and I don't know how many other official posters for this show are going to come out, but yeah, Mike, definitely on that nostalgia. Uh, James playing with the figures in the mud. Yep, same. I think my old house, probably you could dig up, you could do an archaeological dig and find some GI Joes in there, maybe some Star Wars stuff too. But yeah, so TC and I have been getting into the prints, and I have a number of theatrical posters, and I ordered. I've got a frame coming for this. I just mounted. I have the Clone Wars movie theatrical poster, 27 by 40-inch. I just mounted that poster. Going to do the same thing with this, and pretty cool. I don't have a picture of the frame, but it's a front. It's basically the frame folds out and you put the print in, so you can have it flush mounted to the wall, and you can swap in and out posters to change up your display without having to take the frame off the wall. It's pretty cool technology. So the frames aren't cheap, but they're all aluminum, made to order. Pretty nice design. But I mean, I had to have the Ahsoka. That's, you guys know. And then this guy, this rando, this is Kenner, vintage Kenner A-Wing pilot. And I had picked this up I did a trade at the last show that I did. I needed this figure for my original Kenner run of the 96 figures. And I got 4 left. And this one, I need his blaster, just the blaster alone. It's specific to him and one other figure. Just the blaster goes for $200.
What?
The tiniest.
How do you
little
verify
blaster.
that? Like, how do you know it's legit?
That's the tough part. There's websites devoted to helping you differentiate what's an original blaster, because there's so many reproductions out there. There's telltale signs, but yeah, this is one figure that I've needed, and I've kind of held back because these last few that I need are pretty expensive. Most of them cost way more than the price of a new Hot Toys. And if this guy if he had his blaster, and if I had to buy him outright, didn't make a trade, probably would have cost me like $350 for this figure loose like this.
Wow.
So I'm glad I bought most of my figures before the boom, before the pandemic and everything. But yeah, the 4 that I need, I'm just gonna play the long game and see if I can find something while I'm out hunting and that sort of thing. But it felt good to add a figure. I hadn't added a figure to my run in 2 years, so I was pretty happy about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool, Chris. All right, TC, you'd given me 2 things. I didn't know if you wanted to hold one back for the next time.
I guess I don't know what I sent you, but the comic.
There's a comic and a card.
Yeah, hold back the card.
Okay. All right.
Oh man.
Well, now I'm intrigued, so we'll might as well just show the card after this because I forgot what I sent.
Oh.
But so I'm really into Mando comics. So Chris is the reason for this because he shared the fact that they finally released the Mandalorian comic series.
Mm-hmm.
It was delayed years. I don't know what they were doing
Yep.
up in Marvel Comics, but it was delayed years. And so the Mandalorian 1 is the first appearance of Mando, pretty much all the characters in episode 1. And it's the first cameo of Grogu. His first full appearance is Mando 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Mando 1 has the most right now. It has the most hype. I don't know how many variants. There's got to be close to 20 variants. I've got like 18 of these things in various forms. But I'm gonna hopefully not bore people. But over the next whatever episodes, I'll probably just share one. And this one is the GalaxyCon variant. Mando 1, I think GalaxyCon was last September in Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, it's graded 9.8 and it's signed by George's Ginty, so the cover artist, and then also Carl Story, the comic artist. And I think George's also did some of the art in the book. But those 2 artists signed it. You can see the 2 signatures, and they also drew a sketch. And so that's one of my favorite things with some of the modern comics is not only getting them graded and hopefully getting a 9.8, but finding the art behind it, finding the signatures and also the cool sketches, because that's how you can truly make it kind of a one-of-a-kind piece. You don't really see that many of the same sketches on different books. So it's cool to collect something pretty unique there. But yeah, so it's got Grogu and Mando sketched, and I think a pretty cool cover overall. You can actually go on the GalaxyCon site and you can still buy these books raw for like $20, and you can still get them in a CGC 9.8 for very reasonable, and then signed by the artist, very reasonable. They don't have any of the ones with the sketches, but You can get different variants, and also you can even get one signed by Gina Carano and blanking on his name, Moff Gideon Esposito. Forgot his first name.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Esposito. Yeah, you can get it signed by him as well. So a lot of different ways to go about it. I like the ones where the cover artist signs the cover. To me, that's the most important thing. It can have other signatures or sketches on it, but as long as the cover artist signs the cover, that's kind of my gauge if I'm going to get something signed.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, such a great image, and to get the remarks, the sketches on there, that's just like puts it over the edge.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, CGC, there has to be somebody that either works for CGC or is like a licensed rep in some capacity to where they can witness the signature. You can't just go on your own, get it signed, maybe have PSA or JSA authenticate it, and then send it to CGC. You will not get the yellow, what is it, flip at the top.
Yeah,
you won't get that label. It'll go green, I think is what it is, or purple. It'll go a different color, but the one with the CGC witness is the yellow flip, and that's the one that's
they do go
desirable
to
in modern
these.
comics.
So
yeah,
that's awesome. All right, and your card, TC.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The sketch cards. This is a sketch card also by Cyrus Surecat, one of my favorite artists in the game. This is the Mandalorian, and then in his visor is Moff Gideon with the dark saber. This is another one of those AP cards, and it's just really nice. The thing about APs that's so cool is you pay the artist directly. Usually they get a commission or some type of payment from Topps to create a series of pack inserted cards, but it's a very low fee. So when you pay the artist directly, and they end up getting more per card, especially if their work is really good and desirable. So they're compensated more fairly, and you end up getting a better product. This is really cool. You can see all the reflection in Mando's helmet and his visor, and you can see Moff Gideon, just crazy detail on a 2.5 by 3.5 card.
Yeah, and this one looks like it has like those flecks too. I'm sure in the light it has some different sheens to it, and
like top left, and then on the bottom, I can kind of see it here.
It's cool. It's his helmet work is pretty money.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this type of stuff, and we'll talk about it in the future. It's just like different things to have in your display that add those extra elements where it's like not just all the same thing. You've got cards, comics, big scale figures, smaller figures, prop replicas, all that sort of different stuff that just really builds out your display. And that's why it's cards like this that are one of one that can really like put your collection to that next level.
Yeah, and they've gotten really popular, enough so that the major grading companies are all grading them or authenticating them now. So that's they kind of toe that line between card and art, because they are art, but now they can be standardized essentially, just like comics or cards.
Awesome, TC. Thanks for sharing. All right, I'll go quick just to move us along here. So my update that I'll choose to do. So I think I got these a month and a half or so ago at a local shop to myself, Double Midnight Comics in Manchester, New Hampshire. I was checking it out with my son, and we happened to see these figures, these little miniature statues. Saw them. It's like, oh, they were like marked up to $50. They normally are, I think, 40 to 45 most places, but local comic shops got to make their money somehow. It was like, oh, I want them. I had them in my hand. I'm like, I'll put them back. And then right before we left, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get them. They're a lot cooler than I thought. So these are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is by Iron Studios, their mini collection series. and I've been trying to find something Ninja Turtles related that I thought kind of encompassed. This is kind of like a cartoon stylized version of them, and these figures are only like between 6 and 8 inches tall. But the fact that like you've got all the turtles, they're really colorful, and they all work well together in this kind of scene here. I thought this was pretty cool. My son still comes down and looks at them in my Mod cases all the time here, but they're still available. These are shots from the official images here, but just really cool. And I mean, Ninja Turtles have been around for quite a long time, and they've been different versions and the cartoons and the movies. And my son had me rewatch with him recently on his school vacation week the ones that came out from Paramount and Nickelodeon. They're not as bad as they originally were in review wise, but still it's pretty cool. So if anybody's looking for Ninja Turtles to add to their collection, these things they're pretty cool. And they're obviously statues. You can't pose them. I do remember the one thing when we were setting them up is their weapons are all come out separately. I think except for Mikey. I didn't think you had to put his nunchucks in there, but I know for Raph, it was a really pain in the butt to get his size in there in his hands. I think even Leo with his katanas, and I think Donatello's bow staff, I think came in 2 different parts around the middle portion there. So they just pop for sure. So they're really cool. So as a whole, it was a little bit of a one-time drop to pick them all up, but they certainly are really cool. So.
Hey man, Ninja Turtles created in Dover, New Hampshire. So gotta have some representation for New Hampshire there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
All right. Yeah,
I couldn't name the Ninja Turtles, sadly. That's really bad. Like I know the names, I couldn't pick out the colors.
That's all right. I mean, that was like the thing in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And to early 90s. So it's really cool to see my son on, he'll go through and he's been watching all the different seasons except for, you can't find the original cartoon anywhere, but some of them aren't bad. Some of the newer ones, I think like the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm just not a huge fan of the animation style that they use, but I know Seth Rogen has got the new movie coming out this summer, the Mutant Mayhem, and it's got like that Spider-Verse animation style, so that should be pretty cool. Which obviously we're gonna have another Spider-Verse movie coming out soon too, which is gonna be awesome. So many movies.
Oh my god, I know.
We could do a whole movie episode coming up here.
We really could. TV show and movie discussion. Oh man,
finally, because it's kind of been lackluster.
Yeah,
a
lot of the movies, but
yeah.
All right, let's
hope to see Guardians soon here.
Yeah,
don't want to get spoiled.
I
haven't seen Quantum Mania yet. It comes out in like 2 weeks on Disney Plus.
We bought it early to watch it. I would have waited if I knew it was going to be there. I don't think it was worth the $20 to buy in advance.
I know I was kind of thinking the same thing.
All right, May the 4th be with you always. So a couple figures to talk about pre-orders today, and these are hot toys. I'm looking at this now, guys. It's been so long since I've done this. The way that I used to grab all the photos, and I had this plugin that I'd use in Chrome, and I don't know why all the images came out like 1/64th scale, as Jason would say here. So we'll just have them on the background to kind of talk about it. Just unfortunately, the detail's not going to be there, but Darth Sidious, Chris, Emperor Palpatine, we've been waiting for this version of him for quite a while, and a good proper head sculpt of Ian McDiarmid here. I think this figure looks amazing. I know there's a couple of people that have some concerns about it, but like it just looks sinister. The double lightsabers that he had when he fought Maul and Savage Opress in the Clone Wars. I think this is technically, Chris, a Clone Wars release. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, good old Palps. We get the quote unquote Clone Wars version. Celebrating the 20 years of Clone Wars, not the 20th anniversary of the Tartakovsky ones. This is from the Clone Wars series, and it's is it 100% there? No, it isn't. Are you probably gonna display it with the hood on? It's likely. So you could, if you have any issues and you like the look of this Palpatine, I mean, there's ways to hide it a little bit, but
Why does Groot keep sneaking into all my photos?
because
here?
he wants us to go see his movie.
Because it's an amazing figure. He's like, show me.
You're right. But I mean, the Return of the Jedi Palpatine has increased in value significantly, and maybe some people don't want to reach for at the price point that it's at now, and this could be a good alternative. Or if you lean towards the Clone Wars look, or I mean, this might even it's not really what he looked like in The Rise of Skywalker, but you might be able to put it into a scene like that.
Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
if the
Revenge
robe
of the Sith
was exact, but I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, not one that I'm going to get, but it's decent. But and this is the prototype. Chances are Hot Toys is going to tweak the head sculpt, a little bit more, and try to dial it in just a little bit.
It said it had the rolling eyes. Was this one a DX? I should know that, but I don't.
I don't think so.
It's not.
Okay. All right. So, yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's Clone Wars. I've decided that I'm just not going after anything Clone Wars, so I'll pass on it. But hey, people have been waiting for Sidious for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are waiting for Sidious in 2021 when we stopped doing the show. It's 2023, and they just announced it.
And then they'll get it in 2025.
And then in 2025, they'll announce the Revenge of the Sith version.
Exactly.
It's going to be a long time for waiting for that one. So if you do want one, I think go for it.
Yeah.
Clone Commander Fox. Another clone reprint or repaint, I should say. This obviously was from the Clone Wars series. We were actually, the three of us were discussing this earlier. We couldn't decide if he ever got a Phase 3 helmet or not.
I looked online. I need the chat to help me. It looks like he did.
Where's Pearson?
Yeah, the armor looked different. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. But yeah, there's no head sculpt on this. And it kind of looks weird to me with a Phase 1 helmet and the Phase 2 or Phase 3 helmet with the Coruscant Guard. But if that's how it was, then that's how it is.
Yeah, I forget which clone trooper it was that Hot Toys kind of reused parts that didn't quite match up properly to the the way it was supposed to be. I don't know if it was Jesse or one of the other troopers, but I don't know. Hot Toys kind of stretches a little bit to make these clone repaints work properly. I mean, it looks cool. It's a clone trooper. I like the paint scheme, little different color on him, and if you're a trooper guy, it's. I didn't check the price on this one, but they're usually not that crazy.
I think it was
expensive.
$225, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was still sticking to getting all the clones and having duplicates, I would probably consider it. But the only one I kept was Captain Rex. So Groot just keeps showing up. It's like the surprise Groot. It's like the theme of the episode here. I really royally screwed up grabbing these photos. I apologize, everybody. They're like so small on the screen here. So,
but I mean, I think Hot Toys makes a good trooper. They just do.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all the tricks now with the way they attach the armor pieces to the body, and the undersuit is greatly improved from what it used to be a few years ago. Even things like the Shore Trooper, like those are just amazing troopers. So I expect really nothing different from the clone. You just don't get the head sculpt, and you don't get Phase 2 or Phase 3 if that's a thing. You don't get all the the cool interchangeable pieces that you got with Rex and the
501st,
501st. Yeah, so all those were packed out. This is more of a slim release. It's reflecting the price. It's only $225 retail. So I'd also probably expect that to be had for an easy 200 release somewhere.
I'm not even going to bother with the photos of the other ones, guys, just because they're just tiny. But also, they put the blogger photos out today for the Geonosis Battle Droid. So I don't know if anybody's going to be army building that at all. But, Roger.
Yeah. Nice try. Again, another figure that, was quite prominent in the, the sequel or the prequel trilogy and Clone Wars. And so it's cool that people can build out their displays. You can do the whole head swap thing with C3PO, and whenever he comes out. I don't think he's out yet. And then and the price point for those is pretty decent too. I'm sure in a couple months, like TC said, like probably can get some of this stuff for under retail. It's not like there's like that kind of sweet spot for Star Wars figures that are still retaining their value and worth more than retail. A lot of stuff released in the last year or so it can be had for less than retail at this point.
Other one was the Purge Trooper. So it's technically from Kenobi, but also in the Jedi Fallen Order game that had come out. So I know Jedi Survivor just came out. My son and I have just started playing that. And again, I'm horrible at video games, so it'll probably take me a while to get through that story. And Chris, you're the worst at video games, so
literally the worst.
Don't worry, you can watch all the if you haven't already, I'm sure you can watch all the YouTube cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah, that Purge Trooper it looks really cool. So again, another trooper for those troop builders, and something a little bit different. I think that's like between Iron Man figures and troopers, like that's Hot Toys bread and butter. And it's just I wonder if any more figures will come from the Kenobi series than what's already been put out there.
I know they just sorry, TC, go ahead.
It's off topic, but we'll have to go back and can pick the combo. Did you realize that for the first time since MMS 200, 300 Iron Man Mark 45, the 400 the Mark 5, the 500 the Mark 7, the 600 the Mark 1, the 700 was Vader. They broke the streak.
What is going on? Howard wanted to put his stamp in there and then say we're switching this to Star Wars.
I'm kind of hoping they do some of the figures from Jedi Survivor. I think Cal Kestis is a phenomenal character.
Yeah,
I maybe potentially could make a live action debut at some point. It's not even just motion capture from, I think it's Cameron Monaghan. Is that the actor's name, Chris?
I think so.
I think he actually played Joker in one of the like DC TV shows. But actually, can act, and the way that he looks in the game is pretty much how he looks like in real life. So they could do that at some point. I'm less on my like get off my lawn type thing about them like filling in all these like empty time spots in the timeline and adding more Jedi. And, I'm still like thinking Yoda is, sick of listening to whiny old Luke. So he just dies and says, you're the last of the Jedi. But
yeah, I mean, the Scavengers were speculating, thinking that we were going to see Cal Kestis.
BD1 is an awesome droid.
Yep. Yeah. So, it's a strong possibility. I think it would be smart for Hot Toys to, branch off. We've gotten a couple different versions of the figure in Black Series, and in the trading card world, his autographs, especially low numbered parallels of his cards, are pretty desirable. So, big fan base. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the new game. Some not so great things here and there, but those are the diehards. So I don't know. I think Hot Toys, they gotta branch out. They gotta do some more one-off figures like that.
All right,
We got a
guys. Well,
question real quick.
Oh, go
Just
ahead.
Don't want to know if we're talking about Vader and 3PO. It wasn't on the sheet, but just real quick, the Jedi Vader is amazing. Everyone finally got the Vader that they've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
The sculpt is just spot on, little mini me version at the 1/4 scale, and you get that slick packaging for likely the 40th anniversary. Anniversary.
Seems like it's between that one and the Kenobi one that people are looking at. I guess that one's more like the Empire Strikes Back figure, but with some differences. And I guess the Kenobi one, what I was reading about, is more like the Rogue One design. So, there's some pluses and minuses to both those.
Both amazing.
Yeah, we can talk about them maybe next time out.
Yeah.
So, like I said at the beginning, I never thought we'd do this again. So here we are, and we'll maybe keep doing this again. I can't thank everybody enough for tuning in. It's fun to talk Star Wars, especially on our national holiday that comes around once a year. And I still think we've done an episode at least the last 3 or 4 years on this day. So it was nice to keep that tradition going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to chat, Star Wars and collecting and the like. And it was great to see some old faces in the chat chiming in. Love to see it. And let's see how things go. And not sure when the next one will be, but hopefully it's not a year from now.
Probably a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So our plugs are, I don't know that we're going to do this on audio, just because there's a small fee for doing that. So we'll see if people are going to tune into this or not before we go down that route. We still have our TeePublic store. If anybody's interested, I just thinking I got to get the new episode logo, Return of the Scavengers, get a t-shirt up there. I'm sure I could upload that at some point here. And shameless plug alert, 3 of us plus our friend Scott do a Formula One trading card podcast called The Cards Formula, also on YouTube and all those audio places you can download that. And then obviously, Chris, you're still helping out with collecting tracks.
Yep.
Podcast.
Collecting tracks podcast for fanthatracks.com. Our next episode is it's going to be in a few weeks, and we're going to talk Star Wars collecting from Japan. Ooh. So Japanese Star Wars collectibles. So it should be interesting.
All right. Very cool. Let's see if I can not mess up this outro now. We did a little bit of a different edit we don't have a website anymore. We don't have a lot of stuff anymore, but we do have a YouTube channel. So thanks everybody for tuning in and watching this afterwards. We certainly appreciate it. All right, Chris, my friend, bring us home.
Excelsior.